Hold still! You lied to me, you lied to me! In the face, in my face. Put it in the peanut butter. In the face, in my face, in the face, in my face. In the face, in my face.
I thought you said this guy was a Christian. What is this?
Liberate tutte me.
Hey, I'm Peter Franson from Christian Geek Central and Spirit Blade Productions, and I've got Gotham on my mind. I just watched the premiere of the new Fox TV show, Gotham, and, oh, man. Okay, I think it's a good show, and I think that there's a really good chance that it'll be successful if the Fox curse, which happens to all cool geek shows and gets them canceled, unless that happens, then this show will probably do really well. But that doesn't mean that I think it's really great and that it knocked it out of the park, you know. And for me, I don't watch TV. I certainly don't watch appointment TV where I have to sit through commercials. Even like watching them online is hard enough because every 10, 15 minutes you have to sit through one commercial, and that's too many for me. And so I tend to watch shows later on after they're all done on DVD or Blu-ray, you know. And for the last, I don't know how many years, I've really just kind of been watching the shows that I really think are great. I don't have time for anything else. There's so many cool geek things that I love getting into that in each category of geekery, I only make time for the best, the crap that blows my mind. And Gotham didn't do that. You know, this is no Farscape. It's no Battlestar Galactica. It's no Walking Dead. It's no Breaking Bad, as I'm now discovering watching that for the first time. And, you know, one thing you probably noticed if you're familiar with those shows is they're all very character-driven, and that's something I really care about, you know? And I was wanting that in this show, and I didn't get it. First thing, I made a couple of notes here. First thing is the pace and the story. I just felt like they were trying to force everything they possibly could into this pilot. Let's show every person that's going to become a villain in the Batman universe. Let's cram them all into the first episode. You know, a lot of nudging and winking and stuff like that, you know, and I guess foreshadowing. Not really. What I'm afraid of is that this thing is going to get the Smallville syndrome, and it's going to tell the entire story of Batman before Batman even becomes Batman, just like they did with Clark Kent in Smallville, you know? It's like, oh my gosh. What I want is a genuine character-driven story that just happens to take place in the DC universe. I don't need all these villains to kind of nudge become like the non-costume version of whoever they're going to be over the course of this TV show. I don't need that. I don't want that, you know, and to me, if that's what they're going to deliver, it's always going to feel like, yeah, we know what you really want is to see these guys in their full glory in their costumes. We're just going to tease that because we're not capable of giving you that kind of experience on TV because of things being caught up in, you know, rights and stuff, and Warner Brothers doesn't want to, you know, use these intellectual properties, you know, and just on TV. They have so much more potential, so they're going to save them for the big screen. Well, then, geez, don't even bother, like, oh, man. Yeah. So, but anyway, like I said, the pacing was like all crammed together, you know? The script was the king versus subtext. Now, when I watch a show, I'm interested in the script. I want the script to be good. I want the story to be interesting, but slow down, unlike the way I'm behaving right now, slow down and give this scene time to breathe. Give this whole episode time to breathe, you know? You watch really character-driven shows, and what you're going to see in there is there's times where people are not talking, and you're just watching them, and they show you who they are as opposed to tell you who they are. You know, it's all like below what's written in the script, you know, and that's what I want to see, especially when we're dealing with something like Gotham City, when we're dealing with Batman's Rogues Gallery. These are the most psychologically interesting characters in all of comic books. These are character-driven characters, and they're handling it with this really like just forced story-driven kind of formula, and that's not, I don't think, what is really going to make the best use of these characters. Let's see. Okay, the way the show looks, just in general, I kind of was thinking that there's maybe like this kind of like slider in terms of stylistically what you can do with a movie or a TV show or something like that. And there's something that's really stylized that would be like, say, Zack Snyder's kind of movies, like 300, you know. And then you've got like more just kind of produced stories where, you know, it's Well, I'll get into that category in a second because that's where Gotham falls. And then on the other side, you've got this more realistic, gritty kind of thing where it feels as though they're using natural lighting and they're just kind of capturing what is happening in this very real, gritty, down-to-earth world. And that's what I feel is the case in a lot of, like AMC type shows. But where you get into now Farscape, one of my favorite shows, is probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably produced. You can see that they are using lighting in certain ways, and you can tell that they're using lighting effects. That they've got a blue filter on that light because they want this to feel kind of cool and darker or something like that. Well, all I saw in this pilot was a very produced kind of show. It wasn't far enough on this side to be stylized and really cool and creative and different, and it certainly wasn't on the gritty, realistic side. And I wish that they would have picked one of those. I mean, if I had to choose one, I would say the gritty, realistic side, but there are some great, Batman and Gotham City type stories that are told in the very stylized way. What I wish they would have done, what I hoped they would have done, is have like Christopher Nolan executive produce this or something, or just kind of like give it his touch, because I think in the Dark Knight movies, even though I don't think that they are the great Batman movies that they could have been, they are very well made films, and it's very clear that that Goyer, I can't remember his first name, but the writer, and Christopher Nolan are both interested in the city of Gotham and the characters and what life is like in Gotham and presenting the world of Gotham, and they had a nice realistic grounded flavor to it that I really wish would have been carried over into this show. It would have just been fantastic. As it is, I'm a little disappointed. Now, cast and performances. I think that the cast is solid. The cast is good. Some of the shortcomings that I see in the performances, I'm willing to chalk up to they just aren't allowing time for it. And I really wish they would allow time for it because I want to give these actors the benefit of the doubt and say, I'll bet they could give me a really great subtext-rich character performance. They just aren't being allowed the time because of the nature of how they're shooting and telling these stories. One example would be the young guy that played Bruce Wayne. I would have loved. I think that child actor, he's definitely got some chops, but I feel like they didn't give him time, and as a result, his performance was just I felt like it was a little bit rushed, a little bit forced maybe, and I felt like that was true across the board. Another example would be Barbara, Jim Gordon's fiancée, who we know from comics, is meant to become his wife. Who knows if they'll do that in this show or not. First of all, she's too pretty, can I say that? She's too beautiful, she's too model looking, And Jim Gordon should be very grounded. He should be the everyman. He should be the guy that we can all relate to. But he's engaged to this model, and they live in this luxurious apartment with this crazy wide open view. I'm like, man, I want a down on his luck, horribly paid, living in a really rough, kind of living situation and just this cruddy house. That's what I want. I want the Jim Gordon I want Frank Miller's Jim Gordon. I want the Christopher Nolan movies Jim Gordon. And what we have here, he's freaking living in the lap of luxury, and everything's kind of nice and coppery looking in terms of how it's lit. It all looks very classy. And Gotham City is not a classy place. Now, maybe they're planning on slowly making it all corrupt and just go down the crapper. But I don't want to wait for that. I don't want to wait for half of this show to pass before we start seeing the Gotham that we expect. I would rather it starts out looking kind of cruddy and it gets just terrible. That's what I would love to see over the course of the show. Doesn't look like that's what they're going to deliver us. I'm going to give this one more episode. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, they thought we wanted to see all these little future villains all crammed into one episode. Oh, and by the way, Selina Kyle, what was her purpose? She served no purpose in this pilot. Now, I'm sure they're planting seeds for stuff they're going to do with her in the future, but whenever she showed up, at the funeral, she showed up and she was up on the tombstone and she pulled off her hood, and I'm like, why did she just pull off her hood? The answer, so the camera could show you a better view of her face. That is the only reason. And there's little things like that. It's kind of what I call model posing. There's actions that are motivated more by style, by these very superficial things. They're not character motivated. There was no character motivation that I could tell for her to, pull that up. She had a perfectly good view. It was not obscuring her vision, but she just got up there, pulled off her thing, and her hair's blown in the wind. model posing. Now, there's not a ton in this. There's not as much as I'm seeing in Arrow. There's not as much as I was seeing in what I watched of the first 2 or 3 seasons of Smallville, but there's still model posing going on, and this is not a show where you should have model posing. It's freaking Gotham City. Anyway, I actually don't care all that much. But I guess like on the internet and YouTube and stuff, people care about passion and they find that more interesting. So I hope you're interested. I mean, I do care a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, I got some cool other geek stuff that I could do. I'm not going to be shattered if this show doesn't turn out to be great. And if you enjoy the pilot, my hat's off to you. I'm jealous. Just like I'm jealous of all the people that enjoyed Smallville when I wasn't able to. I'm going to give the show one more episode to just slow the crap down and just show me your characters a little bit. Show me who these people are. Don't tell me. Don't have them flapping at the mouth and saying, I think this, I think that, blah, 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 blah. Slow down. Show me who they are and help me feel for them in that way. That's how I'm going to invest. That's how I'm going to care about where these characters go, who they become, by caring and being interested in who they are now and feeling for them. Or at least, if not feeling sympathetic toward them, I want to respond emotionally to who they are. I don't just want to see story points, and these very technical character arcs. I'm not interested in that. I want to feel. So hopefully they'll make me feel something. Did they make you feel something? Did you really enjoy this pilot, or are you with me and you're kind of frustrated by some things? I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments below. Then I hope you'll join us at ChristianGeekCentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.
ChristianGeekCentral.com